250 billion years ago, when fallen angelics destroyed Stargate 12.
It's as if the tunnel has come alive and it's...
Iran is not falling apart, it's actually waking up. Beneath Iran is Stargate 10, a very important piece of...
Welcome to part 2 of the real reason that we invaded Iraq, because you and I have been lied to our entire lives.
Stargates were unearthed by archaeologists, their colossal doors whispering of extraterrestrial origin.
Welcome back to Stranger Chaos. This is episode 6. Tonight we're diving down Stargates.
In the hidden corners of Earth, ancient Stargates were unearthed by archaeologists, their colossal doors whispering of extraterrestrial origins. Governments, shrouded in secrecy, exploited the pretext of mining and war to claim these celestial passages as their own. One in Egypt, one in Western Sahara, 2 in Mexico, 1 in Peru, 1 in Russia, 2 in China, 1 in Australia, 1 in Italy, and 1 in Iraq, each an untapped source of unimaginable power. Whispers of a hidden Stargate in the Middle East reached the ears of those hungry for dominance. It was said to be the key to controlling the others, a gateway to realms unknown. The United States, with an insatiable thirst for power, embarked on a covert mission, indifferent to the impending consequences. In the shadows of ancient ruins, a group of archaeologists discovered a secret that would alter the course of humanity. They formed a clandestine alliance to prevent the misuse of these cosmic doorways. The tension between nations heightened as covert operations unfolded beneath the guise of international diplomacy. Excavations in remote locations masked the true nature of the pursuit. China sought supremacy, while a secret Australian facility aimed to unlock the secrets of the Stargate beneath the outback sands. The Italian Stargate became a focal point for an international game of deception, alliances, and betrayals. In the Iraqi desert, the final confrontation unfolded. Nations clashed in a high-stakes battle for control of the Middle Eastern Stargate, the linchpin to the universe's secrets. Betrayals, alliances, and sacrifices marked the path to the ancient portal, as the world teetered on the brink of an unprecedented era, defined by the power of the Stargates. As tensions peaked, covert operatives deployed in a desperate race for the ultimate key. The world held its breath as the silent giants, the ancient Stargates, promised both salvation and destruction. Who would emerge victorious in this cosmic chess game, and what consequences would humanity face for meddling with forces beyond its understanding? The fate of nations hung in the balance as the enigmatic Stargates held the key to a future that remained shrouded in uncertainty.
With the use of these field pulses. The looking glass device was a back-engineered Stargate. Okay. So it was actually back-engineered from the original cylinder seal data, which allowed us to produce the Stargate access devices, if you will, what we call the Stargates. We should have never built. The Stargate, yes, okay, for the purpose of speaking with the visitors from the other timelines, yes, absolutely. The looking glass, no.
When people talk about Stargate as a device, they're usually talking about something very different from what we see in movies. The idea is that some places on Earth are already unusual, places where the environment feels different, where energy, space, or even time doesn't behave the same way it does everywhere else. According to several people who spoke about this over the years, these places already existed in nature. The device wasn't meant to create anything new, but to work with what was already there. Think of it like this. If there's a river underground, the device doesn't create the river. It just helps you access it. In these accounts, the Stargate device worked like a tool. It helped focus energy or conditions in a specific place so that access became possible. That's why location was so important. The same setup wouldn't work everywhere. It had to be used in the right place. People describe this technology as allowing movement through space and time, but not in a simple or casual way. It wasn't like stepping through a door and going anywhere you want. It was more like following certain paths that already existed. That's why the idea of Stargate is often linked to specific sites, not random locations. The environment itself was part of the system, and this isn't a new idea. Throughout history, different cultures talked about specific places on Earth as being different, locations where something felt off, where navigation perception, or even time itself didn't behave the same way. For a long time, those stories were dismissed as myths or symbolism. But modern science does acknowledge that certain regions of the planet have unusual electromagnetic properties, areas where signals behave differently, where instruments act strangely. So when I hear claims about devices needing specific locations or being more effective in certain places, I don't immediately think of science fiction. I think about geography, physics, and how little we understand about the environment around us.
You know, we live in a world that's full of deception. AI has made it so confusing for all of us to determine what is true now. And now we see Project Looking Glass in full effect. We're being attacked from every side in a deceptionally, we're being attacked from all across the board. We can't believe our eyes. We can't believe our ears. We can't even believe what we read sometimes.
It is true that dimensional portals are real. Watch this.
Construction workers are underground working on a government building project. Inside what seems like an ordinary tunnel, something incomprehensible happens that none of them have ever seen before.
It's as if the tunnel has come alive and it's breathing.
The tunnel seems to move as a cloud, repeatedly and very suddenly, appearing and disappearing. Workers who witness it are terrified, including Juan Antonio Sanchez.
La tierra empezó a rugir como de un león. Eso produce mucho temor porque en cualquier momento uno creía que el túnel se podía derrumbar o que podía... Temimos mucho por nuestras vidas.
Footage of the weird pulsing energy baffles scientists.
There's also this booming sound that's associated with it.
Is this dangerous? Is the whole thing going to collapse?
What the hell's going on here?
Physicist Chad Orzel reviews the footage and considers an incredible theory.
There's a very regular pulsation, so it seems like something must be controlling it. If you were going to imagine an intergalactic portal to a distant galaxy, this is what it would look like.
Many physicists are convinced they exist, but nothing like it has ever been filmed. A wormhole or Stargate is considered by some to be a possible future means of interstellar travel.
These kinds of wormholes are frequently used as ways to travel interstellar distances in space. They show up in the movie Stargate, they show up in the movie Interstellar as long-distance travel arrangements. So this seems like a really great idea.
Stargates and wormholes sound like science fiction, but some of the greatest minds in science believe they might be possible.
Introduced by Albert Einstein himself in 1935, a wormhole is a shortcut, a subway system connecting two distant points in space and time.
So that clip I found to be absolutely terrifying and fascinating at the same time. Imagine driving down through a tunnel and you see that happening before you. What would you do? Would you drive straight? Would you back up? Or would you freeze in fear?
It shows how these gate flows work when they're open. And there would be 12 of these on the planet. And when you would pass into, you wouldn't see this thing standing in the air. There would be a certain field, and only if your DNA was keyed to it would you even know it was there. If your DNA was not activated to be in a co-resonant energy form with that structure, you'd walk right through it, past it, not even know it was there, and you'd still be in the same place. But if you have certain things activated in the body, in the DNA template, in the light body, in the spirit body structure, etc., in your anatomy, you would be able to see it, and you would know where to stand in it, and you would know what to do and how to breathe, and you could use it and go in ascension.
Okay, so the 12 Stargates that we're talking about, which have been interfered with, let's say, they're located at certain places on the planet, physical places.
So this is where it gets crazy. These Stargates has the potential to throw you in a different timeline, a parallel universe, or even help you transport from location A, for example here in North Carolina, to location B in Las Vegas. Now, here's a question. How many of you would step through a Stargate? And would you be willing to go to a different world, a different dimension, a different parallel universe? I think I would. I definitely would. I told you that I would go in the Vatican and explore those secrets. I want to go beyond the ice wall and Antarctica to explore the inner Earth and those hidden civilizations. What if we could use these Stargates to travel to the parallel universe?
Teleportation by means of a wormhole, or Stargates. The hypothesis that there might be tunnels in the structure of space-time allowing for instantaneous travel over vast distances, time travel, or travel between parallel universes was proposed in 1935 by Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen. They drew attention to the solution of the simplest equations of general relativity describing isolated sources of gravitational field.
I'm going to show you a few clips that people have captured of what they believe to be portals to other dimensions, other universes. Now, I found these clips all across the web, and I bring them here to Strange Chaos for us to decide what is real or what is fiction. But then again, we live in a simulation, right? I'm going to do a deep dive on simulation theory soon. The next episode is going to be on Atlantis. That's episode 7. Maybe simulation theory will be episode 8. Let me know.
Guilty. But to me, this is like, it's amazing. I can't even fathom.
Light can't really get through. You're not going to feel anything. You're not going to smell anything until the surface is literally breached. The locale on that side will equalize with the locale on this side, and then you're good to go. You can kind of see like a glow happening, but again, you're not going to get anything more than that until you touch it. And once you do touch it and the surface is breached, this portal becomes self-sustained for like 2 hours.
Are you going to go through it?
Taking samples of this water. Unbelievable. It's so warm, fresh here. It's like, it's almost like it's just untainted. You can't see it because the clouds are covering it, but there are 2 suns right off there. One, and there's a lesser sun like right there. Just like home. I think it's I think it's still Earth. It's Earth in a different time, maybe. There it is. Two suns. Crazy. Beautiful. I have an online tone generator set to 528, which is developed by Thomas P. Sinelski. Thank you, Thomas. I notice here it can be used for science experiments. I would say so. Go ahead and play that. Here, 528 tone. There. I'll stop it before anything happens. Up here, I also have another tone generator set to 525, and I'll show you what will happen with that. Things happen much quicker when you're using pure tones rather than the other stuff I was using on YouTube, which had like sounds mixed in with it. There we go. 528. And already you can see a much more stable fracture. Okay. I have to do this quick because this stuff does not last. 525. You can see there's a whole range of tones here, but 525, you're going to hear the fluctuation there. There we go. Vortex phenomenon. There's several of them there, and you are witnessing a gate, portal, wormhole, Stargate, whatever you want to call it, from this bedroom to another state, using a mixture of two solid tones.
You know, I've watched that clip maybe 100 times. I've seen it floating around for years. And still, I find it fascinating. I mean, this was way before, AI was introduced to the public. But what are your thoughts on that clip? Now we get to the juicy part of this video. We dive into the locations of these Stargates. And some of these locations you've heard of and are absolutely beautiful.
Today we're going to talk about the 12 major Stargates that make up the Gaia grid, which mirrors the chakras of the Earth. Now let's talk a little bit about what makes a Stargate a Stargate. They sit on global ley line intersections, which are essentially planetary meridians. Different sites resonate with different energy centers of the planet. Collectively, they form a planetary ascension grid that connects human consciousness to galactic consciousness. These stargates are portals, often described as gateways between dimensions and parallel consciousness. Visiting these sites or even meditating with them remotely can activate the corresponding chakra within your own body. Many are aligned with celestial bodies like Orion, Pleiades, solstices. They act like acupuncture points on Gaia's body, activating specific frequencies. Initiates of these spaces have reported many things from time slips, perception shifts, intergalactic contact, as well as huge transformational spiritual shifts. Stargate number 1, Giza, Egypt, chakra activation, third eye and crown, awakening higher vision and galactic remembrance. Stargate number 2, Uluru, Australia, chakra activation, solar plexus, life force, sun activation. Stargate number 3, Mount Kalish, Tibet, chakra resonance, crown, ascension, and direct connection to source. Stargate number 4, Lake Titicaca, Peru, Bolivia, chakra activation, sacral, divine union, and womb consciousness. Stargate number 5, Stonehenge, England, chakra activation, heart, opens remembrance of Earth songlines and collective love fields. Stargate number 6, Sedona, Arizona, chakra activation, heart and throat, heart expansion, and voice activation. Stargate number 7, Mount Shasta, California, chakra activation, root and crown simultaneously, anchoring spirit into matter. Stargate number 8, Machu Picchu, Peru, chakra activation, solar plexus, and third eye, radiance and vision. Stargate number 9, Easter Island, Rapa Nui, chakra resonance, root, anchors lost civilizations into the now. Stargate number 10, Mount Fuji, Japan, chakra activation, sacral, fertility, creativity, flow. Stargate number 11, Glastonbury, England, Tor and Chalice Well, chakra activation, heart, Christ, Mary, Magdalene frequencies. Stargate number 12, Antarctica, chakra activation is crown, connecting cosmic memory with the Earth grid. Now that you know about the 12 Stargates, which one do you want to go to most?
I want to reiterate this because this is theories that I'm about to bring to you. I believe it's factual, but that's my belief. I'm going to present it to you and you let me know your thoughts. Why? We're in Iran right now. What does Iran have? It's not just oil. It's not just resources. And we're not going to get too much into politics here. We're going to dive into the real matter of it. Power, energy, control, and the technology.
Iran is not falling apart, it's actually waking up. Beneath Iran is Stargate 10, a very important piece of real estate that once guarded planetary portals that anchored masculine solar currents into Earth. And for thousands of years, those currents were hijacked and twisted by war, by religion, by control, and by shame. But now you can feel it, the land is stirring up. What happens on the physical is always a reflection of the metaphysical. It always happens in the invisible world first. So each rising voice are souls that are releasing the trauma held in the body of the land. It's like ancestral grid work through the people.
Stop scrolling if you want to know what's really going on now. Fighting for the Stargate number 10. We have Stargates around the world. Do you want to see a video about all the Stargates? Let me know in the comments. And Iran is a Stargate, Stargate number 10. Currently they're fighting. And the Pleiadians slowly take over. You see the attack Turkey yesterday. And they want from you now giving Jim Carrey so much attention because now it's energy harvesting. The dark side is hacking in. You watch now so many channelers, remote viewers, Starseed ambassadors, and now you don't know what the truth is. They deleted my Dancing Rods channeling from my Instagram page. I did one myself and I answered the question, is he a clone now or not? You find it still on my YouTube and on my TikTok, and censorship on TikTok for me about Selena Gomez, and another video of Jim Carrey. You see here, these are warnings. This is shadow ban. Please hold your focus on what you want to see in this world. Really integrate these new energies. Stand together. What we need is peace. And I must go to the train now. I wish you all the best.
Iran is holding a Stargate that could literally change Earth's future. And nobody's been talking about it until now. This is more than just politics because Iran sits on Stargate 10, a pre-fall energetic portal once used to anchor eternal life energy into Mother Earth's body. For thousands of years, it's been hijacked by fallen forces who've sent frequencies through it to trap the solar masculine and suppress the divine feminine voice. The people and voices rising up right now, they're not just protesters, they are souls who are awakening. And every single chant is cracking open dormant gateways buried in their DNA and in the land itself. You see, if the Abaddon gate reopens and distortion is cleared over Iran, a dormant energy current could flood into Mother Earth's planetary grid, reconnecting Persia to the eternal flame template. This wouldn't just free Iran, it could shift Mother Earth's entire energetic grid. Stargate 10 and the Middle East has been fought over in the invisible world for centuries. It's not just for oil. It's a very valuable piece of real estate, and the time has come to restore it. On January 17, we're going to do a global grid work over this sacred site, reclaiming what was buried. We're not going to just sit here and wait for governments. We're answering a planetary call. If you resonate and you feel called to join, comment webinar and we'll send you a link. Let's open this gate and send eternal life frequencies through the Middle East together. Persia's gate is calling. Eternal Flame Keepers, where you at? It's time. Comment webinar. We'll send you.
My spirit actually leans into a lot of what he's saying here. What are your thoughts? Did you feel anything there? I felt something. I felt like there's some truth to what he's saying, a frequency to what he's saying. Did your frequency pick up on that frequency? Or is our frequencies matching? Are we vibing? Let me know. So we just went over why we went to Iran, or why we're going to Iran. A theory. Now we're diving into the theory of why we went to Iraq. And this goes all the way back to Sumerian times, to Mesopotamian times. I believe the energy that they had back then and those eras was way more advanced than now. Way more advanced, 100%. And Tartaria is proof of that too. They were way more advanced than we are now. Free energy, we went over that. Check out that video, Tartaria, free energy, and how they took it away from us and were slaves to paying taxes and oil. Come on, man.
Welcome to part 2 of the real reason that we invaded Iraq, because you and I have been lied to our entire lives. In part 1, we talked about how an archaeologist discovered the ancient city of Uruk in modern-day Iraq, and then he discovered the tomb of Gilgamesh, and coincidentally, a few months after, we invaded Iraq. Well, buckle up, because this goes so much deeper than just his tomb. Now for this video, we have to go back to the days immediately following the flood, and this brings us to Genesis 10. Genesis 10 is the genealogy of Noah. Genesis 10:1 tells us that the 3 sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Down it says Ham had Cush, and then Cush had Nimrod. So Nimrod in the Bible is Noah's great-grandson. Now why am I talking about Nimrod? Because Nimrod is Gilgamesh. In the Bible, we learn that Nimrod established a very large kingdom. He was essentially the first king of the world, and it also says that he ruled over all of the other sons of Noah. Now, because of this, there were many different peoples that would write about Nimrod. It was their personal account of who Nimrod was. The Babylonians wrote about him, the Assyrians wrote about him, the Hittites wrote about him. It says even in Palestine, tablets have been found with this man's name on them. He was obviously the most popular hero in the ancient Near East. And of course, the Sumerians wrote about him in the Epic of Gilgamesh. I'm going to go back to Genesis 10 to find out about Nimrod's kingdom. This is Genesis 10:8, and it says up at the top, he began to be a mighty one on the earth. We'll go back to that verse later. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Verse 10, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. That's southern Mesopotamia. From that land, he went to Assyria and built Nineveh, and there's more. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce them. Let's bring that verse to life a little bit. Here is a visual of Nimrod's kingdom. Down here, we have the Tower of Babel. We have Uruk, where he was found, or Erech in the Bible. The city of Ur, which is actually where Abraham was born, and then the land of Shinar. So pretty large kingdom. We're going to go back to Genesis 10:8 because it says he began to be a mighty one on the earth. This is the exact same phrase that God uses when he describes the giants in Genesis 6. So it says, There were giants on the earth in those days and also afterwards. So God is specifically telling us that the giants, these demonic hybrid beings, survived the flood. When the sons of God came into the daughters of man and they bore children to them, those were mighty men who were of old, men of renown. The Greek origin of the words describing Nimrod are exactly the same as the Greek origin of the words God used to describe the giants in Genesis 6. It is worth mentioning that the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament, also says that Nimrod began to be a giant upon the earth. Now, Nimrod is talked a lot about in the book of Jasher, in the Apocrypha. And before anybody comes for me and says that we shouldn't read the Apocrypha, this is in the Bible, Joshua 10. Is it not written in the book of Jasher? 2 Samuel 1, indeed, it is written in the book of Jasher. The authors of the Bible are referring us to other additional sources so we can find out additional information. Back to Jasher, it says, "And they brought him offerings, and he became their lord and king, and they all dwelt with him in the city of Shinar, and Nimrod reigned over the earth and over all the sons of Noah. And they were all under his power and counsel. And all the earth was of one tongue," we know this, "and words of union, but Nimrod did not go in the ways of the Lord." Here's what's interesting. He was more wicked than all the men that were before him from the days of the flood until those days. And when you read about Nimrod, this guy was disgusting. He was wicked. He was perverted. He mated with animals all the time because he couldn't control himself. He was absolutely deplorable. Now, Nimrod actually wore the garments that Adam and Eve wore in the Garden of Eden. They were passed down to Noah, who kept them on the ark, and then he passed them down to his sons, and then obviously his sons passed them down to Nimrod. And it says here, he gave them those garments through the love for him, and Nimrod grew up, and when he was 20 years old, he put on the garments. And Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments, and God gave him might and strength, and he was a mighty hunter in the earth. Yes, he was a mighty hunter in the field, and he hunted the animals, and he built altars, and he offered the animals on them before the Lord. Now, there is no written explanation for how Nimrod became Nephilim, how he became a demonic giant. So this is my personal conclusion based upon what I've read. We know that Nimrod, when he was ruling, he did not go in the ways of the Lord. He was more wicked than all the other men, but in his early life, he was obedient to the Lord. And when he put on the garments from Adam and Eve, God gave him power and might. So I think that all just got to his head. I think as he aged, he started to abandon the Lord, and he started to serve Satan. And what does Satan do? He takes everything that is God's and he twists it in his own perverse and evil way. So I think as Nimrod started to serve Satan, Satan used that power that God had given him and somehow transformed him into this Nephilim, into this demonic giant and a completely wicked, horrible, grotesque man. Now, because he was Nephilim, he had access to Nephilim technology. And this is where we get into the conversation of the Stargate, which is a demonic portal. This is where it gets kind of crazy, and I know this is going to be a lot to take in for some people, but y'all, the truth is that we live in a spiritual world. There are angels and demons all around us at all times. They're just in a different dimension than ours. So beings like Nimrod, who were almost 2/3 demon, had access to all of this demonic technology that was beyond what we could even imagine. Now, this brings us to the Ziggurat of Ur, which is located in modern day Iraq. Now, this is just an artist's depiction of what we think it might have looked like. This is what remains, and it was believed to have a Stargate buried underneath. This is pretty much what they look like. It's a portal to another dimension. And so all of the demonic rulers, you know, in the ancient civilizations, they had access to all this. They had this technology, and God tells us this in the Bible. And so when that archaeologist found the tomb, found the city of Uruk, you know, that's a red alert for our government, because there's a lot of fallen angels that rule this world, and they are in power in our world. I'm not going to say any more than that. So when they got word of Gilgamesh or Nimrod, they knew what they were looking for. But who was in their way? Saddam Hussein. Because Saddam actually thought that he was a reincarnated version of Nebuchadnezzar. In the 1980s, during the Iran-Iraq War, Saddam Hussein became obsessed with the Babylonian ruler Nebuchadnezzar. Saddam saw himself as a modern reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar, and to prove it, he spent millions building a massive reconstruction of Babylon. In addition, he actually tried to reconstruct the Ziggurat of Ur. So that means that he had the technology to the Stargate that was known to be below.
Hussein either was able to get the Stargate working or learned something important from it, and Big Daddy America got concerned. The Bush administration recognized that Hussein had some very, very valuable, relevant information concerning the ancient history of the planet, either technology or text basically confirming this, and he was going to release this to the public. I think that was a big part of the reason why the Bush administration went into Iraq, to stop him from revealing this information and to also, of course, this is what I think, control it themselves. Now, all of this sounds crazy until you actually do some digging and you find on the CIA's website a project called Stargate. Now, this goes back many, many years because there are many Stargates all around the world. This document obviously is from 1993 and it covers the discussion of paranormal activity. The investigations described in this report involve a class of human capabilities generally referred to as parapsychological or paranormal phenomena. There are two general types, informational and energetic. There's a lot of weird stuff in this report and it takes some time to read through, but you can find it yourself on CIA.gov. There's this story as well from 1928. You can find this on TikTok. This man was digging underneath Egyptian pyramids. He found a Stargate, went through it, and he actually brought people with him. Time was different, so he thought he was gone for only like an hour, but he was gone for 3 days. So when he went through the Stargate or the portal, he actually went back in time to when the pyramids were being built, and he saw UFOs carrying the stones for the pyramids. He saw giants, he saw aliens, he saw Nephilim, he saw all of it, and he said it was beautiful and lush and green, and he actually saw conveyor belts. I mean, they had electricity, they had power, they had technology back then from demons, and there's many stories like this actually. There are Stargates all over our world because our world was inhabited by demons and demonic technology, and we have pyramids all over the world, and it is no coincidence that America, part of the Grand Canyon is closed off. A lot of national parks are closed off to the public, and it's a huge reason why we are lied to because it goes back to the Bible. So we all know what a Stargate looks like, right? It's a portal. And we also know that our government went into Iraq and took the Stargate that was under the ziggurat of Ur. This is CERN.
For entertainment purposes only.
So a lot of what she said too, my spirit resonates with. I believe it 100%. Especially because it's tied to the small G gods, the Anunnaki, the fallen ones. The angels, the fallen angels who stole the gifts and technologies from heaven, according to the Book of Enoch, and introduced it to man. You know what? We're going to do an episode on the Book of Enoch too, a full dive. Well, it won't be a full dive, it'll be a part dive, because even that could be in a whole series in itself.
I'm on the CIA Astro Projector site of TikTok.
So happy you're here. Let's go through it rapid fire. So there are many CIA declassified documents where they explore the psychic abilities of humans. Now, during this time that the CIA was doing this, tensions were high between the US, the Soviet Union, China, and the US heard that Russia and China were training psychics and having a lot of success with it. So they were like, we gotta look into this. Does it sound familiar? If you've seen Stranger Things, you know how Elle is able to send herself to the void, and in the void she can see things. Well, the CIA was testing very similar things. They were doing astral projection, remote viewing. Remote viewing is essentially one's ability to send one's consciousness to a different space, different time, and you're able to see certain details and write them down. So the question is, did it work? In 1979, the US was remote viewing the Soviet. Joe McMoneagle, who's one of the most famous remote viewers, remote viewed a dry dock location where the Soviets were working on a new submarine, significantly larger than anything they've done before. He wrote the report, but a lot of people didn't believe him because it was beyond what they believed the Soviets had the capabilities to do, until they looked into it and found it. In 1974, Pat Price remote viewed a top secret Soviet research facility. He literally drew a picture and gave the location, all of which was confirmed. But here's where it gets crazy. Let's talk about Joe McMoneagle again. In 1984, the CIA wanted to do a remote viewing experiment with him. He was not told what he'd be remote viewing prior to the experiment. He went into a room, he sat down, and he was given an envelope. The envelopes had coordinates and a specific time. So what he saw was large pyramid-like structures, canyons, valleys, and the remnants of an advanced civilization. The planet was undergoing severe climatic and atmospheric changes. He saw lots of massive dust storms. He saw these tall, skinny humanoid figures that looked distressed from the environmental conditions. The beings appeared to be looking for a way to escape the planet. because the planet, its civilization, it was at its twilight. So what was he remote viewing? The information he was provided was Mars 1,000,000 years ago. Mars 1,000,000 years ago. Obviously, there's like no way to know if that is true, but there are many instances where remote viewing has been proven to be effective. In 1979, the Pioneer 11 spacecraft was able to see Saturn, where it discovered that Saturn had rings. Here's the crazy thing. This is Ingo Swann, a very famous American psychic. In 1973, so 6 years before that, he remote viewed Saturn and described its rings. He spoke of its atmospheres, storms, faint ring system, all which science later confirmed. That's wild, that's crazy, it's amazing what the human consciousness can do. One of the groups that the CIA would work with was called the Monroe Institute, which still runs today. And this is the craziest aspect about everything. They teach that every single human being has these abilities, and they literally teach you courses on how you can learn to do it yourself. They even teach you how to freaking bend spoons with your mind. They offer like in-person courses, but there's also a ton of free stuff everywhere online. But it's crazy. It is such a fun rabbit hole. You need to dive.
All right, so let's dive into some whistleblowers. People who forecasted this very year what will happen. Now, it gets crazy from here. It gets crazy from here. It gets stranger from here. So stay with me.
Few cities, and especially almost no large cities.
That's only 35 years from now.
Yeah, and that the population is very greatly reduced.
What would cause this?
I was wondering if there was going to be a war, and I had looked in that, and I found no, that there will be a large killing off of people, but not as a military war.
What does the killing?
I did go into this with many, many sessions and also connected with the people who have the detailed data and information. To my surprise, their projection is the same.
250 billion years ago, when the fallen angelics destroyed Stargate 12, they had control of this time matrix for several million years, and they were dominating everything they got their hands on. Worse than that, there were two groups of them. You had draconian ones that are out of the fallen seraphim, and you had the Anu ones, the Anu Elohim ones, that were out of the fallen Elohim. Elohim Elohim were the founders' race, and one group of them got all messed up. They became the Anu Elohim. It was kind of interesting the way it went down, where the fallen seraphim draconian races that were originally of Vega in Lyra, in density 4, they started raiding certain areas and taking over planetary, like liquid light, we're talking liquid light dimensions here, planetary systems there, and start to work their way down the densities. This made the fallen Anu Elohim on a planet called Lyra Avion very nervous, and they petitioned the Elohai and the High Councils of the Brenau to destroy the draconian races because they were posing a threat. The draconians hadn't done anything so bad yet that it warranted destroying them. The founders know you can't destroy something. You have to heal it one way or the other. I mean, if you destroy it, you just turn it back to space dust, and it has to re-evolve back through a form again anyway. Because we're all connected, we're all in God, we're all part of God. You can't make it go anyplace else. You can't send it off into a criminal camp in some other cosmos, because there isn't another cosmos. It's all taken place within God. So the answer to the request of will you destroy this race was no, but we will help to rehabilitate it. The Anu Elohim, being just as messed up as the Draconians were, didn't like the answer. They decided that they knew better, and they decided to get rid of council who would stop them from trying to destroy the Draconian races. So they figured out a way to backrun the frequencies from Gate 11, which was in Lyra Avion. These were the 3' gate planets. You had Vega in D10 that had Gate 10. You had Avion in D11 that had Gate 11. And you had Aramatana, which was the one Earth is connected to, in D12. And that was a 12th dimensional gate. And they're all in Lyra. They were Lyra planets. Now, because the Anu Elohim didn't like the response of, no, we're not going to destroy the Draconian races, they decided they'd take matters into their own hands. They reversed the fire letters enough in Gate 11 to backrun them up into Gate 12. And it imploded the morphogenetic structure, or the core template of Gate 12, which made it inoperable. That sealed everything into this time matrix until that gate could be fixed. Nothing was going to ascend back out. They could get up to Gate 11.
I'll tell you what they told me recently was, and I put this in writing to the Pentagon in 2012 when I told this, okay? One thing she told me was, when you see Iran and Israel exchanging missiles, and I saw it, the way she tells me is a vision of, I see it like a living picture screen. I could see the rockets flying. Then all of a sudden, orbs appeared out of the ocean and everywhere. And I told the government, if this happens, the orbs are going to appear and wake people up and stop it. That's what she told me. It was this April date.
April 2026.
Yeah.
Your involvement in the teleportation aspect of Project Pegasus. What about your involvement in the time travel experiments?
By the fall of 1970, they were already moving us backward in time 12 hours. In other words, we would teleport to New Mexico, spend an entire day there involved in project activities, and then when we arrived via teleportation back at Curtis Wright, it was maybe 11 o'clock in the morning rather than 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And we asked them, you're sending us back in time, aren't you? And they said yes.
So tell me about this photograph where you're actually seen at the Gettysburg Address.
Well, they sent me to Gettysburg via a new technology in 1972 called plasma confinement.
So we see you in this picture in Gettysburg, and you're standing how?
I just decided that I would walk about 100 paces on a diagonal from the stage, and then stand with my left foot forward and my right foot to the right, so that people looking over at me wouldn't see how large these shoes were. And then I would look in the opposite direction from where I knew Lincoln would soon be arriving on the right side of the dais to give the Gettysburg Address. And it was in that position, that odd position, wearing those grossly oversized men's shoes, that I was photographed by a contemporary photographer, in a photograph that's now known as the Josephine Cobb image of Lincoln at Gettysburg. What my dad later explained is that when he saw me standing next to him in Gettysburg in 1863, he said, "I knew then you were going to be in the project."
Again, it's all tied to the Nephilim, to the fallen ones, to the technology. And now, time travel could be through Stargates, could be through portals, it could be with CERN, not could be, but you know what? The language that we have to say here, right? Because I can't force any ideals or theologies on you, or theories on you. At the end of the day, it's your choice to believe what you believe, but my spirit resonates with this type of stuff. I believe nothing is new under the sun, and these things have existed. Now we're going to dive into terrifying experiments. If this is from a movie, please let me know. I'm not sure where it's from, but I brought it on as B-roll to show you that they do have these projects going on. Project Looking Glass, Project Montauk, just to name a few, and we'll dive into those again. There's so many projects that we could dive into, right? We're diving into this one. And we dove into the underground bases, right? We did on HFC. So we know there's definitely things going on in these deserts, in the ocean, behind the ice wall, and definitely in these Stargates.
Back in 1976, something weird went down with the American Stargate program. The lady in the video? She was an officially recognized, superpowered person by the U.S. Turns out, stuff like telepathy, walking through walls, and moving things with your mind isn't just in movies. After the CIA's Stargate project got outed in 2017, people started seeing these things differently. Fast forward to September 1976. The LIGO Psychic Research Lab was gathering folks with special powers, all scientifically tested and proven. Some could see through stuff or read minds, others could even move objects just by thinking about it. But then, Judith Weinstead showed up and things took a turn. Judith, almost 40, had a spine injury from an accident and started acting weird. Her sister tried doctors, no luck. After seeing an ad for LIGO's lab, she thought, why not? LIGO and his team chatted with her. When asked about her dominant hand, Judith got really distressed and started nosebleeding. In the telekinesis test, she aced it, made the assistant roll 7s without touching the dice every single time. That's 100% success. The staff were stunned. Their best was just 30%. When asked to move something on a table, Judith casually moved the assistant's chair instead. For the clairvoyance test, she didn't just guess the right card. She bent it from across the room. Even LIGO was freaked out. But then, Judith stopped cooperating and got weirder. Word got to the White House, and a CIA guy named Robert came with fancy gear. But that just made Judith mad.
and the government guys ended up regretting it big time.
Stargate is set to be created by 3 top tech firms, OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle, according to an announcement by the White House today. The new company's purpose is to grow the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of artificial intelligence in the United States. The 3 tech firms will invest $100 billion in the project at the beginning and plan to put up to $500 billion in Stargate in the coming years. About 100,000 U.S. jobs will be created as a result, and a 1 million square foot data project is already under construction in Texas.
Alright, that wraps up another one for the Stranger Chaos. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for subbing up, watching these videos. I got plenty more coming for you. These subjects are fun, aren't they? It's interesting, terrifying, fascinating, all at the same time. Alright, next episode is going to be Atlantis, and then maybe simulation theory, and then Enoch. Alright, until next time, Stranger Chaos signing out. Peace!